We are back, and hello, I'm back. Sorry it's been a few days since my last video. Look, I'm getting a little bit bigger now. This Mike Chang workout is it's getting me there. Look, I'm getting ready for Batman. Funnily enough. Anyways, so enough about my stupidity and silliness. We're going to talk about professional wrestling, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that are on my mind. Usually I like to do several videos during the week and make them small subjects, but I'm going to have to just cut straight to the point. Here are the things I want to talk about. Number 1, The Rock's return. Number 2, the Wyatt family. Number 3, women's divas wrestling, whatever you want to call it. And some other things I just want to talk about in general. So starting off, The Rock's return. What did I think? It was fun. It seemed like a one-shot deal. He came out during Rusev and Lana's promo, did a segment with them, then got into a bit of a brawl with Rusev and then smacked him out of the ring, and then that was it. Fans went home happy when that segment was over. Then the following day, everybody talked about how Rusev and The Rock possibly, not saying 100%, but speculation went awry, and people started to wonder if we were going to get The Rock versus Rusev. And a lot of people were against the idea, with the simple fact that they felt that this was going to bury Rusev and that Rusev was not going to win. And I was not against the idea if they were going to do that, and it sounds like they're going to continue this, because if I'm mistaken, Rusev and Lana did acknowledge The Rock on SmackDown or Main Event. I can't remember what show it was, but I was told reliably that they responded to that and said that they haven't forgotten about that. So it implies and suggests that we may see something with those two later down the road. The thing is though, on SmackDown there was something else that happened that is also hinted at another match, which was, if you haven't seen it, there was a segment on SmackDown, the 15th anniversary. The Rock comes in all jacked up, all sweaty, joking with Triple H, then it turns serious, then they start out wrestling one another again, and it was kind of hinted that we may be getting a Rock versus Triple H match at WrestleMania, as opposed to Rusev and The Rock at WrestleMania. Now, here are my thoughts, the pros and cons of both. This is what I think. A lot of fans didn't want to see Rusev and The Rock. A lot of fans presumed right away that The Rock was going to win that match. Now, if you have studied The Rock's career, or the history of The Rock's career, he's been one to not put someone over. Granted, his last run was a bit more far one-sided. I know a lot of fans didn't like the fact that he beat CM Punk. People felt Punk should have held the belt forever and ever and ever and ever, but then that didn't happen. And I know a lot of fans have used that recent what happened with him as a means to say, well, if he goes in there and wrestles Rusev, he's going to do the same with Rusev and he's going to beat him. But we don't know that for a fact. And I also want to say this, Rock has done a lot of jobs throughout his career. He's lost to a lot of people, put a lot of people over. He, if you look for his career, and if you look at the matches he had, especially in his 2001, 2002 peak, when he was at the height of his star power, and Hollywood was really, demanding to have him. If you look at a lot of his matches with, second tier guys like Christian and Edge, if you look at his matches with Kurt Angle, if you look at his matches with Lance Storm, Reiner, they were always hyper and uber competitive, where it actually looked like the other guy was going to win. In fact, if my memory serves me right, I remember having a match with Christian and it looked like Christian was going to beat him for the belt. Look at his matches with Jericho, look at what he did with Brock Lesnar. The Rock has no problem putting guys over, and I would not be opposed to the match if it gave Rusev that rub and elevated him that much more. Because right now with Rusev, I am interested in him, where I like his kind of style and how his style interests me. I don't think he's Samoa Joe, I don't think he's Kobashi, I don't think he's any of those kind of, that kind of style of a wrestler. But I'm intrigued enough about what he's going to do in the ring that I will watch and pay attention to him, if that makes any sense. And I do like the pairing of him and Lana. Lana is a confident speaker and a good speaker, but the material can be a bit off, and I'm not at the point where I'm booing and hating and wanting to see them get their comeuppance. But bit by bit, they have developed this slight aura of invincibility about him, and if he beats The Rock, that could actually truly lift that aura up that much more. And that to me would be pro of doing The Rock versus Rusev. Plus with the celebrity of him and the visibility, it would be really beneficial for him. It would really help boost and generate a star. And The Rock is known to be quite generous when it comes to these kind of things. He's not that much of a political baby, if you know what I mean. The con is, if The Rock comes in and just wipes him out, that would be bad. That would be bad, and you'd also have the argument, well, why couldn't it have been someone on the main roster, someone on the rise as well as Rusev? Why couldn't it have been Roman Reigns when Roman Reigns eventually gets to the top spot? Yeah, well, that's still debatable. Why could it have not been that guy? There's always going to be that con to it. Now, on the other side, you have The Rock versus Triple H. Now, if they did The Rock versus Triple H at WrestleMania, the con is, well, it's a feud we've seen so many times before. As a fan of WWE since the age of 6, going into the Attitude Era, I'd seen Hunter and Rock wrestle so many times. When he was Rocky Maivia and he was the Schnob doing a little bow thing. When it was Generation X and Nation of Domination, the matches for the IC title. When The Rock became a main eventer and Triple H became the game, they had that feud running from 99 to the year 2000 into 2001. I've seen so many of their matches that it doesn't feel that fresh to me. However, with that being said, the last time we ever saw those two wrestle was 2002, if I remember, on Raw, when Rock was the undisputed champion. And they've been away from one another long enough where it could be a fresher option as opposed to a Randy Orton and John Cena, where we fucking see that every year. If we have Triple H and The Rock, it's a little bit fresher. It's like reliving the past memories and kind of having a bit of a nostalgic feel to it. You know, just one more match just to see what happens. And it's also a safe option because it does actually, in my opinion, it doesn't hurt any of the younger talent, because these are two established legends, icons, main event guys, and it's not going to hurt. You know, you won't have the problem where, oh, if The Rock beats Rusev, everyone's going to lose their mind. If Rusev, you know, you don't have that problem. If Triple H wrestles someone and he destroys them, you know, people aren't going to lose their mind. It's a safe option to do that match, I think, and it's a win. It doesn't hurt any of your up and coming talent. Again, that's why I think they might do that, and that interests me. But it'll be very interesting to see what they do with Rusev over the next couple of months. I've heard a lot of different ideas. I've heard people say Kurt Angle being one. I've heard people say The Rock being another. I've heard John Cena being another option. Now that topic's done, we'll move on to the next one. The Wyatt family. Give me 2 seconds. God, I really wish I knew how to cut and paste. Right, the Wyatt family. So, if you've been watching Raw lately, you would have noticed that they have now split up, or are on the verge of splitting up, the Wyatt family. They did a video promo with him talking about setting Luke Harper free. There was another promo about Eric Rowan being free, and it looks like the three of them are all going to go their separate ways, and a lot of fans are very vocal about this and have a lot of strong opinions about this, and a lot of the opinions seem to be of the idea that this is a huge mistake, that the Wyatt family have been poorly used, that the Wyatts are not being used to their fullest, and they are better as a threesome as opposed to 3 single stars. It's better that you keep all 3 together. And the other rumour going around is that the Ascension on NXT are going to join Wyatt while the other 2 go on their own. Now, here's my thoughts on this, and I'm going to try and get it down as briefly as possible. The Wyatt family I like as a group. I think they're very different, they're very unique looking, they don't look like everybody else on the roster. They're not Derek Big Ben with 6-packs and the prison tattoos and the buzz. They have this very unique look, and it's like, builds the character, you know. Now when I see that straw hat and the funny t-shirts, I think of Bray Wyatt. You know, things like that. When I see the dirty wife beater vest and the scraggly truck driver jeans, you think of Luke Harper. When you see that sheep's mask, they've done these things with their look and how they are presented, where, you know, the characters are over me, and I, you know who they are. You know who they are. And I felt for Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, it was in their best interests for now to be with Wyatt and to be pushed strong until you get to the point where you can't do anything else with them. The problem is, you haven't done everything you can do with those 3 as a group. I still think that there was a lot of potential there. I like the 2 of them, Rowan and Harper as a tag team, as henchmen, as his bruisers, Wyatt as the manipulator, the talker, you know, the mastermind behind the group. I like that pairing. The problem I found, and this is why I think they've gone wrong, this is why I think they've almost been ruined in a sense, well, you can come back. But my problem is, since they started, I don't feel that there was a careful plan in place like there was with the Shield. If you look at how the Shield were brought in and compare it to how the Wyatts were brought in, I think that the Shield have come out of this far better than the Wyatt family will. And I got the feeling that the Wyatt family could have been the replacement for the Shield as the threesome group that are running roughshod and creating all kinds of havoc as the Shield split up. And I think that they should have beaten the Shield in actually their matches. That's just my opinion. My problem is this: when they debuted, and you look at how they debuted, they put Bray Wyatt in there with Kane. They gave him all these vignettes and they put him in there with Kane. The problem is, while Kane is a big man and a monster, Kane is not the type of guy you would want to put in there with Bray Wyatt. Why? Because when you have a guy like Bray Wyatt, a guy that could be the next Undertaker, the next Mick Foley, the next Jake the Snake, you want to put him in there with a guy he can completely smash and destroy. Kane is not that style of performer. It did not translate very well onto SummerSlam. Now, after SummerSlam, what happened? What did they do with Bray Wyatt? Not much. He did his promos, which were very entertaining, but no one really hated Bray Wyatt. In fact, I found more people were cheering for Bray Wyatt after that. They did all his promos, his engaging promos. He's a very engaging talker. That's his greatest skill. And then they did the feud with John Cena. Now, this is where things went wrong. Why? Because of this. Give me 2 seconds. God damn, I'm talking so goddamn fast. Bray Wyatt had this feud with Cena, and that could have been a feud to elevate him. But my problem is, Cena beat him at WrestleMania far too easily. Then the feud just descended into all kinds of weirdness, like with the kid in the cage match singing, "The whole world in his hands, whole world in his hands." You know, trying to do the whole Exorcist thing. It would fit Bray Wyatt's character, but it was just so off that it didn't work. And then Cena just beat him handedly in the end anyways. Now you look at Harper and Rowan and how they were used. Admittedly, they are great. They're great talents. I think Harper is the better of the two. But they just kept losing far too easily to the Usos and kept losing far too easily to this person and that person. Cena beating them 2-on-1. That hurts their credibility. That never really happened with the Shield. The Shield always got the upper hand. And in my opinion, you beat people so much and to death and to such a point, their credibility with the fans starts to wane. And the other problem is, I actually started to feel that Bray Wyatt's promos started to dip, where they were just weird and nonsensical for the sake of being weird and nonsensical, rather than making some kind of point. The promos just became more and more bizarre and strange, and it just didn't work anymore. And I kind of feel that he's lost a lot of steam. This is a guy that should be one of the headline acts for this year, and then unfortunately now he's just relegated to a mid-carder. And while he's a talented guy and he has the talent to get back, I kind of feel with the company's creative vision, they've kind of set him back, and now they have to reheat him all over again, which they shouldn't have to. He should be hot right now. The Wyatt family should be a force of nature. Bray Wyatt really should be an opponent for The Undertaker. Unfortunately, he's an opponent for The Miz, which is pretty much how it's going right now. What else did I want to talk about? Roman Reigns. Right. Guys, I don't hate Roman Reigns. I don't dislike Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns is okay. I did a video a few weeks back explaining why this guy is not the next Rock, why he is not the next Hulk Hogan or the next Steve Austin. I wrote on Wrestle Talk TV's video, I gave my opinions on what I felt was wrong with Roman Reigns, and if you watched Raw, you would have known exactly what I was on about when you saw the promo with Roman Reigns. I kind of feel personally that Roman Reigns, while he is typecast into being a generic big man WWE main eventer, and there's a problem with that. There is a problem with that. Where's the appeal? I'm Roman Reigns, I have a fancy goatee, and I have long hair that I flip back, and I don't smile very often, and I pump my fist, and I have a Polynesian tattoo on my arm, and I'm Samoan, and my relatives were famous wrestlers, but that's it. That is it. That is actually it. Whereas with Dean Ambrose, you have all these little character things that are catching on. With Bray Wyatt, prior to his fuck-ups with him, he had things that were catching on. With every main event star, you know, even Cena, even though I dislike it, I'm not into Cena, there's some things about Cena has these things that he has an appeal to him. A lot of these guys, I don't see the appeal with Roman Reigns. And when you saw that promo where he was there, I'm going to be back very soon, I'm going to put that vest on, and I'm going to be back kicking ass. I can hear people down the road say the exact same thing, but far more interesting and far more entertaining. In fact, you can probably hear them right now, because I live right behind a pub. You can hear a bunch of pissheads making noise. The fact is, there's no there's something missing in those promos. It's the material and it's the delivery, and you watch that promo, you'll know exactly what I mean. And to think in about maybe 6 months from now, he's going to be the key guy for WrestleMania that possibly beats Brock Lesnar with promos like that, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I hope that there's a formula in place to get him better and to get him up there. Because again, look, where's the appeal? When I have learned through my years as a fan of WWE, when they tell you a guy has the it factor, the it factor in WWE means this, that you are tall and muscular. That is what it factor means. That is it. If you don't believe me, go back, watch Tough Enough, the last Tough Enough season. You'll know exactly what I mean when you see the finale. The big guy was the guy with the charisma and the it factor. He didn't have either of those two things. My Batman figure has more personality than Roman Reigns and had more personality than Andy Levine or whatever his name was. That's the problem. I think they just see a tall, good-looking guy. Yes, he's the main eventer. And I really hope that they reform the package and they make him appealing. But right now, based on what I've seen, I don't see it. Anything else I wanted to talk about? Women's wrestling's a bit, up and down at the moment. You've got the Bella Twins feud, which is really just not very good. Let's be real. The feud is just, it's not working, and it's like they're just trying to say things for shock, like you should have died in the womb. Nobody went like that. Everyone sat on their hands and said, fuck you, I'm buying some popcorn. The feud is dull, the feud is boring, and I actually think that women's wrestling really needs a revamp right now. You've got the Paige and AJ Lee feud, which is very interesting. Why not do AJ Lee eventually going in there with Stephanie McMahon for WrestleMania, with AJ Lee winning? That would be interesting. Why not do something like that? And in the meantime, get some women ready to really boost your roster. But you know what? That's a subject I'm going to have to do for an entire other video, because I have a lot of thoughts right now about women's wrestling that I would like to share, but I need to do an entire video for that, because there's a lot of things running through my mind, especially when you watch the UFC and you see a female star like Ronda Rousey take off, and you see all these other female MMA fighters catching on bit by bit, and I'm wondering why WWE, with the market share that they have, can't do the same thing. Anything else I want to say? No. Other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm sorry, this is not my best work. This is not usually my best video. It's just kind of me just getting all my thoughts out there. If you want me to talk about TNA, let me know. I'll do that. I can do a video on that maybe tomorrow morning. I'm going to do an MMA video. Before I go, I'm going to say a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my channel, especially over the last few months. Because the last couple of months haven't been the best for me personally. I don't want to get into all of that. But coming on here on YouTube, making videos, interacting with fans, people liking, people finding me on Twitter if you haven't followed me, people interacting with me. It's been such fun and a lot of fun, and it's really cheered me up when I'm on here. And I have to say, these are probably the best parts of my day, which should tell you how sad my life is right now. These are usually the best parts of my day, and I can't really express enough gratitude and appreciation and thanks, because I'm just so warmed and touched by everybody who just comes over here and discusses MMA and pro wrestling and anything else they want to discuss. So I'm just really warmed by that. And if you want to, follow me on Twitter at BuffBeenStuffed. You can find me on there. Ask anything you like within reason. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Oh, Batman's fallen over, and I need to go. I've got to do an MMA video, so I shall see you all soon. Peace.